Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to Unique. This is your host, Dr. Akudo Ehirim. And for today's topic, we are continuing with domestic violence in our community. In the last episode, we talked about abuse. What is abuse? We defined abuse as a repetitive pattern of behavior to maintain control and power over another person. We talked about different kinds of abuse: physical abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, emotional abuse, and verbal abuse. We talked about the signs. We talked about you need to speak out and ask for help. Now we are going to discuss causes of abuse. Why do we have so much domestic violence in our community? Why are our marriages in trouble? And before we go, I'm going to introduce the people in the studio today with me. I have Mr. Emmanuel.
Hi, viewers.
I have Dr. Obi Ibezim.
Welcome, viewers.
I have Chi Dike.
Hi, everybody.
And I still have Mr. Ken Owen.
Hi, viewers.
Now, guys, let's get this ball rolling. Why do we have a lot of domestic violence in our community? Let's start with you, Mr. Emmanuel.
Well, domestic abuse can be likened like a cancer that is ravaging our community here in diaspora, of which is supposed not to be. And if it is not checked, it is going to eat deep like a canker worm. So which means this is a good topic we are discussing at this particular time that will benefit almost every one of us. Now the question of what are the causes of domestic abuse? Well, I will go in. One of the causes of domestic abuse is insecurity.
Exactly.
And when we say insecurity could at least 90% come from the men's side. Because when, like, for example, the wife happened to have a better job that pays better than the man, then the man now started getting insecure. So does it mean that my wife want to control? And whatever the wife says, it will seem as if it doesn't go right into his ear, as if the man is trying to say, no, I am insecure in this relationship. My wife is taking over or dominating me. I need to do something. Of which it's supposed not have been like that, because it's supposed to have been work together, because that is the essence of marriage.
Exactly. Okay. Obi, do you want to chime in into that?
Yes, I mean, he is very right about what he said about insecurity. Yes, we do have it. It's one of our personal traits. But again, in a relationship, one has to understand each other. I will also deviate a little bit from what you just said. I believe one of the causes of abuse is cultural beliefs and cultural differences. Because where I came from, West Africa, people do think about cultures. People do think, women especially, they think that women, their men are more superior. They have to respect their men. If you look, so many our mothers or grandmothers, if your grandfather is still alive or your parents both are still alive, listen to your mother. Hear her. Listen for a second when she calls your father. They address them. They can't even say their first name. They call them King, like a special name. Like the name always sounds like something very superior, like you are the head of the family, we respect you like the king. Or when you put a man way above women's standard, that kind of brings some inferiority complex to women. Because now in this society we live in, we are deviating from that. We are now in a civilized environment whereby men, I remember when I was in high school, we used to have a shirt that they wrote, what a man can do, a girl can do better. If you look at that aspect, we're kind of trying to say liberation. We can do this. It's no longer all about men. So it's really it has to do with cultural differences in our society. Why?
Do you think that's why the domestic violence is more in our community?
Yes.
Okay. Chichi.
Excuse me, I thought we were dealing with the point he raised about insecurity.
Yeah, when it gets to you, you can chime in on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're talking about what causes abuse, right? One of the things that I would say that causes abuse is environment.
Okay.
If you grew up in an environment that is full of chaos, anger, bitterness, abuse, verbal abuse, or any kind of abuse, when you grow up in that kind of environment and when you start to accept such kind of behavior, you actually grow up being like that. So to me, abuse starts from your environment. So if you look at most kids or most people that have been abused, check their background. Either their mom, their great-grandmom was abusive to their father and mother. So in general, to me, environment is one of the biggest cause of abuse.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ken.
Well, just as we observed earlier, that wherever you have human beings, there will be a form of abuse. In this conversation, we are limiting abuse to the context of Nigerians or Africans in diaspora. And if we limit it to that, the causes may be a little different from what may happen, say, in Russia or other parts of the world. For instance, Mr. Emmanuel just observed that it is insecurity. I wanted to chip in that it is not the fact of the woman having a better job that causes the problem. To many men in America, they are educated. They understand that because of the way the society is structured, a woman is likely going to make more money. But what is the character shift? What is the behavioral shift on part of the woman as a result of her making more money?
She's making, exactly.
Most women lack the wisdom to understand, hey, we have a relationship here, and by default, a man is supposed to be at the head. They think, hey, because my salary is now doubling his salary, I have to order him around in the house. He becomes, quote and unquote, a houseboy that she feels comfortable going to bed with whenever she wants. When a situation like that crops up, there's going to be a problem in that house.
Exactly. Exactly. So indirectly, you're trying to say the issue is not how much the woman is making. Because most women might make more.
Yeah.
Most men might make more. It doesn't matter. The problem is the attitude. What kind of attitude do you have? And by attitude, I mean it goes both ways. The woman might have the attitude, I'm making more than my husband, so I will order him around, like Ken said, as a houseboy. Why the man might also have the attitude, why go to work when she can do 16 hours every day and make more money? Those are two attitudes. I want anybody chiming.
Well,
chiming.
Go ahead.
Mr. Emmanuel.
Yes, I can chime in exactly. I think both of you are exactly correct because it goes both ways.
It goes both ways.
Because when the attitude of which the woman want to use with the husband, in case if she's not checked her attitude very well, it could cause an untoward effect. So, but now. Men also, like as you said, will say, okay, now because my wife has a better job, I don't want to do anything anymore. Let me just sit around, let her be going 3 jobs because she's getting better job, of which also is not supposed to be so.
Exactly.
Because they have to understand each other. And if they don't understand each other, who do this and who does that, I mean, it's going to cause untoward effect.
Then domestic violence will be evident.
They should, exactly.
I will really add to it this form that everybody should have some kind of respect for each other,
exactly,
regardless of your status. It's not really who brings the money,
the bread home.
The bread home. Is how do you manage it?
Exactly.
How do you do it? How do you understand each other? There's only one goal: to have a very good family. I believe whoever is making the money is making it in a way that I'm bringing it home to the family. I want us to be better. I want us to have something to eat. So it's really a mutual understanding between the two,
husband and wife.
Between husband and wife.
Okay, Ken.
Well, I was going to say that a good number of times we come from Africa, and just because we're in America, we tend to forget who we are. If you are truly a man, and I'm not talking about how much you make, by definition, you should be working. If you are a man and healthy, it doesn't matter how much you make, you should be working.
Exactly.
So if a man says, hey, my wife is making all the money, let me be at home and be Mr. Mom, by the definition of Igbo culture, that person has lost his status as a man. At the same time, women also come here and quote and unquote become Americanized. They make a little more money and it's like, hey, this man, what are you good for? I can take care of myself. I can push out of the house and become everything. Maybe she can for a while, only to find out that she can't do that for long. So, like Doc observed, the need for respect is paramount in any relationship. You cannot be happy with somebody that you don't respect. It doesn't happen. You cannot plan with somebody you don't respect. For me to seek your advice, I must have, by default, have respect for you and think that you have something good to give
valuable to bring.
If I think, hey, there's nothing for her to offer, why would I seek her advice in the first place? So respect is usually the undercurrent determining the relationship.
So guys out there, I hope you guys are listening. We at least we have agreed on one thing: respect. It doesn't matter who makes more, because marriage is supposed to be between a man and a woman. In this union, it has to be between a whole man and a whole woman to come together. But sometimes women, when we start making too much money, we begin to think, you know, if I can do this, then nobody can tell me anything. On the other end too, men begin to think, if my wife can do 16 hours Monday through Friday, why do I need to work? We are all human beings. The man is somebody's brother. He's somebody's cousin. He's somebody's nephew. He's somebody's son. He's somebody's in-law. He's somebody's father. The woman is somebody's mother, somebody's sister, somebody's niece, somebody's auntie, somebody's mom. Let us respect each other. Let us value each other and know that the money is not the issue. It's the attitude attached to the money. Like Ken said, every man should go out there and work.
Of course.
Even if your wife is coming home with $10,000 every month and you come home with $1 every month, make sure you wake up in the morning and go grab that $1 and bring it to the family. I had a friend once say, it's not who is right. The husband doesn't have to win. The wife doesn't have to win. The family has to win. And as long as your 10,000 and my $1 is all going to the family, that is what counts.
The family is winning.
The family is winning. That is what counts. Okay? Now, you guys, I want to throw this out there. So I hope you guys are ready.
Okay.
Some people say that the reason why domestic violence is more often now in our community is because some of the relationships, spouse are very selfish. It's like they are married, but they don't know they are in a relationship with somebody else. It's me, I, and myself.
Well,
and let's start with you.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is that because we're in America and given the American economic environment, we look for investment in marriage. We marry somebody in a relationship instead of marrying somebody because of the inner qualities of her character. You're looking at her as a potential investment, or looking at him as a potential investment. What do I mean by that? I've had a number of friends who run to Nigeria, and all they are looking for is a nurse, because nurses are likely to get a good job here. And it's like, who is she? You don't know, and you don't care who she is. The things you like about women, short of bringing in money, which one does she have? You don't even know. You just want her as a nurse because she's coming to get a job and probably feed you. You are investing. You are making an investment. That's not a relationship. And so once she gets in, she will make the money, all right? But how much of it is going to be yours? And she refuses to give you her money, then we have
domestic violence.
So if you want a family, every family is going to have some problem, one form of problem or the other. But most of them will not migrate to the level where it becomes a social problem, like the kind we have today. If you don't want to be part of that statistics, ask some questions that has nothing to do with how much income the lady or the man is able to generate.
Exactly.
As one old lady once told me, we know what he drives, but what is it that drives him?
That drives him. Okay.
I
be chiming.
I will jump into this situation also about this more multiple relationship. I really believe in marriage. I believe marriage is between two people. Now let's leave it that way because America has changed it. So whatever you believe in, as long as it's a commitment, I think you should be committed to your partner.
That, exactly.
I think you should. When you're tired and you don't want that relationship anymore, swing it off. And let your partner know that it's over, because all these things also cause some kind of trouble and aggravation between the two partners. If you're hiding extramarital affairs, how long can you hide it? I mean, the world hears. You don't know who your husband or your spouse or will meet one day, or who is going to introduce. You don't know what's going to happen. Why don't you keep it clean? I mean, it's really a fair game. Because I've had so many stories whereby somebody gets killed because of this, because of extramarital affairs and all that. To me, when commitment, serious commitment, when I'm talking about commitment, I mean marriage.
Marriage.
When it's more than two people, it's crowded.
It's crowded.
Because you will not have peace of mind. You hide your telephone, your cell phone. You hide everywhere you're going. For what reason? Your heart, your mind is it's not at rest all the time because you're watching your back.
You don't want to be caught.
You don't want to be caught. How long are you going to play that game? How long can you play that game? And what happens is so many people end up losing what they have because they're thinking that it's green on the other side of the fence. And they end up losing what they have.
And still won't get what they had over the fence.
And when they go over the fence, they figure
they are no longer there.
Oops.
It's gone.
Where it was, I think, was better. And it'll be too late to go back to the original place.
All right, Chi. Jumping.
I'm talking about domestic violence, in our community. We, mostly West Africans, when we come to America, we choose and pick what rules and laws we follow. So sometimes we want to go with
American rule and Nigerian rule.
So
when it favors us.
When it favors us, you don't pick and choose. Now, when you bring two different cultures together, there's a conflict. So the problem with domestic violence has to do with, when you're talking about marriage, what is the purpose of your marriage to the person? Are you marrying her for real, or for you want to marry, like you said, you want to invest on a woman to be a nurse? So when we choose and pick, I want to choose Nigerian culture here and pick and choose this. So when we mix these two cultures together, that's what brings domestic violence. Women would be like, in Africa, where I come from, we know that men are the head of household. Then the culture has changed. But even when a man is the head of household, now in America, like women and men worked equally. So sometimes a woman don't want to hide spend her money because she will tell you, in Africa, you are the head of household. But we should have a way of communication. We should have a way of not choosing and picking which culture we take. No, we don't do that. That's where that is one big issue we're having in this community when we choose and pick the two cultures. So that is one of the biggest issues with domestic violence.
Okay. Mr. Emmanuel.
Yeah, I think every one of you have talked very well about this because, and it is true, if you don't stand your ground to know which one you have to follow, you will end up destroying the marriage or destroying the home. Because, and as a Christian, like as we were saying, if back home, we look at our mom and at our dad, we know exactly what they are doing, because from this effect now, it can even spiral to children.
Exactly.
Of course.
Because children, they are watching mom and dad. And so now, but when you come to America here now, you are now one culture here now. You don't know which one to follow because you're in a different community altogether, environment altogether, and you now tend to follow, okay, let me follow American culture.
When it pleases you.
When it pleases you. I mean, at the end of the day, it is really going to affect the home, the family, and you now end to, becoming an abuse or domestic violence in the family.
Well, I have an observation to make here. I don't think we're having this much problem because American culture is different. American culture still respects the value of marriage. If American couples are married, they work together. A woman doesn't do her thing separately from a man because they are American.
Or hide your account separately.
Because they are American. A good marriage cuts across the board, regardless of where you are. However, we are in a country that has a lot of laws, and anybody engaged in deviant behavior, we always see something to justify his or her position. That doesn't make it American culture or Nigerian culture.
And I wanted to ask something, because Ken, you said something that really, you know, before, at least 10 years ago, or maybe as back as 15 years ago, if you want to get married to somebody, you want to date them, you want to find out what kind of family does she come from, what are her likes, what does she like to do, what are your hobbies,
That's right.
what are your opinions about this. But gradually, I want to ask you guys, when did it change from what a woman likes to, are you gonna go into nursing school? Are you gonna make money? And like Ken said, most of this marriage, there was this thing I saw on Facebook. It says, guys, it is a marriage, it is not a paycheck.
Okay?
That's
This
right.
is a marriage, it's not a paycheck, it's not an investment. Like Ken said, most of us, men and women on the women's side, we go out there, and as long as he's a medical doctor that lives in America, he is anybody that lives in America, I will marry him whether I like him or not, because I know I'm going to America. On the man's side, I met a guy. He asked me, he said, I'm looking for a wife. Do you know anybody? I said, oh, what do you want in a woman? He said, oh, she must be in a nursing school or about to graduate from a nursing school. And I asked him, I said, is that your criteria? He told me point blank,
You got to be a nurse.
He said, it's either she is in school to be a nurse, or she's about to graduate from nursing, because she has to be a nurse. Now I ask you guys, when you only aim of going to marry somebody
For career.
is for career and money, if that woman comes in the first 4 or 5 years, she is obedient because she's waiting to get her papers.
She won't
She's
be that
waiting
long.
to get everything straight.
She won't stay that long.
And once she gets everything straight and she knows she can take care of herself,
She kick it
marriage
out.
is over.
That's right.
Now she say, hey, I'm gonna keep my money. You need my money. Go get your own nursing degree and go do your own thing.
That's a failed
And that
investment.
is a failed investment. Now you're feeling your investment didn't pay you any dividend. So let us go into that. I want us to talk on that a little bit.
You know, what my understanding of that aspect is, it doesn't have to be just marrying people from Nigeria. It happens here.
Here
also.
too, yes.
Some men or some women, they marry because of a career. Your
That's right.
status.
What do you do?
What you
do?
have.
Some people even ask you how much you have in your account.
That's true.
I mean, these are
Your
temporary
credit
things.
score.
Your-
What's your credit
These
score?
are very
Because we need to buy a house and I have a bad credit. What's your credit?
Most of the marriages amongst the diasporas that fell is because of what? Material.
Material things.
Material reasons. You marry because of material reasons. Our men do that a lot. And when they find out,
Our women do that a lot too.
they
Yes.
do, but it's
It
more.
goes both ways.
It goes both ways, but men do it more than the women, per my observation. You go into a relationship where our parents, they're married for love. Most of our parents, they didn't even have anything when they first started. They built it up together. But these days, people ask, what do you have? What
Before
can you
asking
bring to
about-
the table? They haven't even started loving. They haven't even developed love for each other. They're looking at, oh, I better marry somebody that will take good care of me. I don't want to marry a poor man. Men do the same also.
I think
I
I-
understand the stress of America is getting too much on the men. I mean, women can deal with it more than men.
Yeah.
Our men, what I'm talking about, Nigerian men, they have so much ego. Their ego is too much. Sometimes it covers their faces.
Well, let's take it one after the after
I
another.
will give you time.
No, I will forget what I'm trying to
Hold on,
respond to.
let her finish.
They look at themselves as if, okay, I'm going to work under this woman. I'm older than this woman. I tell women what to do in my house. I won't take this job. I can't take this job because the supervisor said this to me. The supervisor said that to me. But women, they go there, they take the orders, they do the job. And men can't stand it. That's why I'll tell you, some men don't have jobs because they can't take orders from women.
That's true.
Okay, in this America.
That's true.
So what happens is the woman does it, brings the bread home and all that, and you want to exercise your right as the head of the
house.
family. Head of the family. We understand it works somehow.
It's
Some
a
men are
financial
very
labor.
good. When their women are working, they take care of the kids. But that's how other men, when the women are working, they still take the kids to the babysitter. I mean, this is not fair to me. This is an abuse to the woman. You know she's the breadwinner. Why can't you help her one
With
way
some
or
other
the
things,
other?
okay.
Support her. Do
Okay.
other things. We all can cook. We know how to cook. Don't wait till the woman like a nurse, quote unquote, that you want to marry. She stands up doing 12-hour shift. And she comes home, look at the children running towards her, mommy, mommy, mommy. And then you're sitting there flipping TV and telling her, it's time for dinner. What's for dinner? You've been home all day. Help out. This relationship is receive and take, reciprocal.
It's give and take,
It's
exactly.
give and take. That is really what I'm saying about these people that go over there, don't have love for their spouses.
All they
whatever
want
choose.
is what
All
she
they
can
want
do.
is what she can do.
Like he said,
If it's a
investment.
nurse, they want, usually my friends call it ATM marriage. You want a nurse so you can have money, so she can work and make money for you. At a point, she will realize, oops, I can't do this anymore. If I can pay all these bills and take care of these kids,
I might as well do it by myself.
Then,
And that's
men
the problem.
Get angry, they kill, they hurt, that's really where this abuse
Anger is
escalates.
coming from.
And if you look at it, the statistics is always between a nurse and
Yes.
a husband.
And the husband. That's true. That's what they like. Okay, Ken,
Okay.
jump in here.
I wanted, I'm
Okay,
sorry
jump in.
I interrupted you, but I wanted to observe, contrary to to what you said, that our parents married for love. No, our parents didn't even know each other when they got married. How do you love somebody you didn't know? But we had different parameter. It was a given that a man and a woman come together and they form one to form a family.
Okay.
And it was a situation whereby both of them had their hands together and looking at one direction. They knew that everything they were doing was for the
family.
betterment of the family. Like you observed earlier, it was a de facto situation that the family had to win. However, that's different from what we have in America today. Because the man goes back home to invest in a nurse, the woman comes here with her own agenda. So you have two people in the same house that are not even good business partners.
Okay.
Like in a partnership where they're not working together, it will only take few years and each of them will go his or her way. It has little to do with love. Our parents married, and as a result of the relationship, they later fell in love and become interdependent. That's not happening again today.
Marriage today is marriage of convenience.
And
Well, it's an investment.
Hold on a second, guys. So what we are agreeing on, and which I want the audience to understand what we're saying, is that on both sides, when a man goes, for example, to Nigeria to go marry a woman because she's a nurse, you don't care anything about her. It's just she's a nurse. The woman in Nigeria, she's not stupid. She watches TV, she sees CNN, and hears that women in America make money. The woman doesn't like you either, but she wants to come to America too. So these are two people with two different agendas.
It becomes
When
a passport to America.
in a family, we should all have one agenda. So you see, disaster is already brewing. Then the woman comes with an agenda. I need a passport. The man is a passport, and the man is my media, my way of getting into my land of promise. The man sees the woman as also his way of getting into his land of freedom. Then two of them come, and then we begin to talk about domestic violence. We begin to talk about abuse, because after some time the woman can't take it anymore. Like Dr. Obi said, if I can pay the bills and do everything by myself, I might as well be by myself. On the other hand, the man is saying, I brought you here because I invested in you, and now you're going to eat your money all by yourself, and then I'll kill you. You see, that's where the problem starts.
Investment first.
That's where the problem starts. Let's hear Mr. Emmanuel.
Okay, let me ask you, are we limiting ourselves to only in diaspora, or can
No,
okay.
even everywhere, abuse everywhere, even in American culture, abuse everywhere.
Okay, now like Doc, she just rightly said about women. About men that are looking for nurses. It's also vice versa.
Exactly.
Women are looking, are you a doc?
Yes.
So that if
Are you a pharmacist?
Yeah, are you a pharmacist? Then Nigeria now women say, are you a politician?
Exactly.
before they can get into a relationship, because they know that is where the money
Money is.
So they are not really going for the love, which means we are losing the sanctity of love.
Of marriage,
and,
exactly.
The marriage too. And in the Bible, it says in the book of Proverbs 18 verse 22, it says, he who findeth a wife
Find it a good
findeth
thing.
a good thing and obtaineth favor from the Lord. It can also be said otherwise too, that he who findeth a husband findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor from the Lord. But now nobody is finding all those things. They are not looking for where the easy way out. Okay, this one, I mean, my security here is money. As far as this woman is like an ATM machine. I don't need. I don't, whether there is love or not. I don't need that. That's what I need. I need security.
I need the money.
I need the money. I don't need love. And when you throw, because also in the Bible it said, how can two work together
Unless they agree.
except they agree? They have, like what we were saying before, they have to be mutual respect. They have to be agreement before a love can thrive. But if all these are not there, love cannot thrive. And if permit me to say this, see, marriage is the oldest institution ordained by God. And from the Bible we also find out that devil is really one of his main agenda is to destroy family marriages.
Because it's two.
Exactly.
It's two. When the devil attacks you, it's just you.
Exactly.
But when it attacks the family, it attacks couples and their children.
Exactly.
So that's more people. Why go for one when I can get 6 at the same time? So once they destroy the marriage, that's it. You know?
Well, according to the small man of India, Gandhi, he says the only devil there are the ones running around in our heads. What do I mean by that? If the whole society is in disarray, one aspect of the society cannot be the same one. The dissolution or whatever is happening to our marriage situation is not alone. It's a reflection of the society. And I'm not just talking of American society.
In general.
There is a total dislocation in our sense of responsibility, in the way you raise your kids, in the way the family used to function, in the community, and even in the nation. For instance, if you raise your daughter right, it is not every man that says hi to her that she will follow. And if you raise your son right, it's not every beautiful girl he sees that he will run after. He will ask the more pertinent question, whose daughter is this? What is the family like? And vice versa. So all those things, the depth of responsibility in our larger society is in effect what is happening in our marriages today. It's not enough to love somebody or not love the person. What's your sense of responsibility? Independent of whoever becomes your wife or your husband. What am I expected to do? What should I do as a good wife? What should I do as a good husband? This is something you're going to do to whoever you choose as a wife. And if you have that right, you have solved a large proportion of the problem. Our parents didn't even know each other when they got married. But they had this antenna in their head. A man should go to work and provide for his family. He knows his responsibility as a man, independent of who he married. And as long as he was doing that, the woman will eventually love him, even if they started off with her not loving him and vice versa.
Okay, what I was so putting into this is, I mean, we know that money is also one of the biggest factor of domestic abuse. Also, I also say that stress is one of the biggest.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. We're going to take a little commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to continue with stress because that's going to be the next topic.
Okay.
Welcome back to Unique. We stopped on the topic stress. Chichi, you raised the topic stress can also be part of what is causing abuse in our families. Can you continue on that?
Yeah, not only financial or career that causes abuse. You know, we have stress. A lot of stress can cause abuse. Can cause domestic abuse in the family.
When everybody is stressed out.
When everybody is stressed out, you are stressed out at work, and I'm stressed out at work, and I come back home, somebody is nagging. You know, a lot of things
can cause
domestic violence at home. So to me, I believe stress is one of the biggest factors of domestic abuse.
All right, Obi, jump in there.
That's exactly why couples should work together or learn how to work together. For instance, just like what I said, if I am the breadwinner, all right, I expect you, my husband, to help out
a little bit at home.
I'm not asking too much. Take care of the kids. I mean, if I'm bringing money, I'm making sure that we all have something to eat. Take care of the kids. Don't expect me to take the kids to the babysitter while you're home doing nothing. And when I come home, you wanted to ask me what for dinner. What are you making? But you there. I mean, I give some men credit because I do know a lot of men do that.
A lot of men do that.
They step up to the plate.
They step up to the plate.
And they do what they're supposed to do, so their wives will be very happy when they come home. That is working together. If you do that, if you all work together to help each other out, the level of stress will be very reduced.
That's true.
This is America. America has its own stress. Why
add to it? Why add to
it?
Mr. Manuel, say something about stress.
Yeah, actually, I think stress also can cause domestic abuse if it is not handled very well.
Exactly.
Like rightly Doctor just said, you have to understand, when both of you understand yourself, you find out that you have to really don't allow emotion or stress to take over. Because if you allow it to take over, then it's going to lead to what you don't want. But you should be able to control. So, okay, like she said, now maybe if the husband, maybe the wife has been working for many hours and she comes back home and she can't even put the children, make the children food or even give them a bath, a man can really help out in that. So vice versa. So when they understand each other, they won't allow stress to take over.
They destroy the relationship. All right, Ken, what do you have to say about stress?
Wherever you have human beings struggling to eat, whether it is in Nigeria, in America, South America, wherever, there's gonna be stress. It's part and parcel of our destiny as human beings. However, if you are in a relationship that is respectful, that stress would not overtake everything. So to me, there is already an undercurrent of problem that the stress only helps to make larger. If you have somebody that you respect and you communicate accordingly, it is not difficult for the woman to say, hey honey, I'm so tired today, can you help me do this?
And the man will
if you talk to the man in a way that appeals to him, he will do anything for you. But most men don't like to feel as if they're being commanded
or that around.
Control. So for most men, the word must should be removed from the dictionary, because whenever you say, honey, you must do this, he ain't gonna do it.
Even if he wanted to do it.
Yes. Even if he wanted to do it, he's not gonna do it. So it boils down again to communication. You can get about anybody to do what you want if you know how to talk to the person.
You know, what you said, I always tell people, when I do my speaking engagements, I always tell people, it's not really what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
It's not really what you say. You can get anybody, man or woman, to do anything. It's how you say it. I can come to you and say, honey, do you know at work today, I did so much, I have a migraine. Honey, would you mind taking the children to McDonald's? And then when you come back, I have soup. Can you fix yourself something to eat? And you say, oh, go lay down. But nobody, man or woman, let's not limit it to man or woman. Nobody wants to be ordered around. Even the woman. Even if she is a stay-at-home mom, you still come, because stay-at-home mom, America is telling us they are the hardest working women in the world. Stay-at-home moms are the hardest working people on this earth. That's what they're telling us. So don't think, oh, I'm the doctor, I go to work, I do everything, you don't do anything. Why is the house dirty? Why is it? That lady has 6 children. 6 children, that is 6 different jobs. You went to the hospital, that's your job. That woman has 6 children. She has to keep the house clean. She has to take care of those children. She has to make sure there is food for you. When you come back, guys, appreciate her. If she said, I was so busy changing the little boy, I didn't have time to clean your shoes, it is okay. The world is not going to come to an end because she forgot to do one thing for you. The same thing for a woman. The world is not going to come to an end because your husband has been cleaning and cleaning every day, but today he was watching basketball and he forgot to clean for you. Let us all be reasonable human beings. That is somebody's brother. That is somebody's son. Just like you are somebody's daughter and you are somebody's sister. If that lady in your house is your sister and she calls you and tell you, look at the way my husband is treating me, would you be happy about it? My mom will always tell us, before you pinch somebody else, make sure you pinch yourself. That thing you don't like. Let me give you guys a story. I was talking to a husband and a wife. The wife was complaining that the husband hits her all the time. So I asked the husband, why do you hit your wife? He said, because she runs her mouth. And every time she runs her mouth, I'm going to hit her. Because she says all kinds of stuff to me. She calls me useless, she calls me hopeless, she calls me worthless, she calls me dead cops, she calls me all kinds of stuff. So I asked the wife, and the wife said, why can't we just say whatever we want and not hit nobody? That was her excuse.
It's America.
She said, why can't I just say whatever I want, but nobody should hit me? So I told the lady, no, you can't say whatever you want because you're hurting somebody's emotions. Right. And I told the man, you can't hit her because it's not right to hit somebody.
It's wrong.
Guess what, guys? The phone rang. It was the man's junior sister who lives in Germany. She was on the phone crying. The man got up and went to the dining side and was like, what's going on? I think the sister's name, because he was calling her baby. What's going on? What's going on? The sister said, my husband hit me. He said, I'm going to buy a ticket and I'm going to be in Germany. I'm going to beat your husband. Your husband put his hands on you, my little sister. And I looked at him and I smiled. I didn't say anything. So when he got off the phone, he came and sat down. I asked him, I said, who was that? He said, that's my baby sister. I said, what happened? Can you imagine the husband hit her? I said, maybe she was running her mouth. And he looked at me.
That's a good one.
He looked at me and said, what did you say? I said, maybe your sister was running her mouth and the man gave it to her. He said, no amount of running the mouth will make somebody hit my sister.
Okay.
And I looked at him, I said, no amount of running her mouth will make you hit her. And then he stopped and started scratching his head. And then he said, you know what? I'm not going to come to your house anymore for these cases. You don't know what you're talking about. And he left. So that is an example, audience. You know, let us remember that you don't want somebody to do this to somebody in your... Why do you do it to your wife? It's both ways. You know, it's both ways. We can't just say, okay, let me do this to her because she's nobody. And then when you hear somebody is doing that to your sister, all hell will let loose. No, that is somebody's sister. That is somebody's brother. And all hell will let loose too if they hear what you're doing. Okay? Now, let us go to the age.
You want to
say something? Okay,
Yeah.
say something in stress before we go to age difference.
Yeah, because we are talking about the way you are from Mr. Ken, what Mr. Ken said, and what you said also, that it depends on the way you address
it.
the other party. Because even the Bible even says, I said, let your words be seasoned with salt.
Exactly.
So that you will know how to answer all men.
Exactly.
And also, the Bible also said in the book of Ephesians 4:29, it says, let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. So when you know how to talk, you can even move a mountain.
Exactly.
Because of the way you talk.
You say
But
it.
when you don't, the way you say it. But when you don't know how to talk, it can easily stir up anger. And before you know, domestic abuse
Is
or
there?
violence
Comes in.
That's
Because you have to know how you talk.
You know how
Yes,
you talk.
it's just
how you
like
speak.
Nigerian phrase or whatever you were calling says, chew your word before you let it out.
And just like Americans will tell you, be careful what you say. in case you have to swallow them back.
If you can dish, you also can know how to receive.
You know,
Thank
you have
you.
to be very careful, because most of us, we run our mouth, we say a lot of stuff, but it's only here. It's not practical. You know, it's what people see. But deep down, when nobody see, I always tell people, character is who you are when nobody is looking.
That's true.
Yes.
That's your character. Is who you are when nobody is looking. I can be the best woman out here, and you guys will see me as the best woman. My character is who am I in my house when you guys are not there. When it's just me, my husband, and my children. What kind of a mother am I?
Right, that's
What kind of a wife am I? Because I might come out and be the best wife to you guys. You don't live with me. You don't
You
know
act
what
the
I
best
do,
wife.
and act the best wife. But when I
Like a
go,
politician.
but when I go back there, my husband might be crying every day. My children might be miserable every day because I might be beating him every day. But here I look good. So we have to be careful, because stress already. We are in a country, in a society where we are highly stressed out.
Yes.
Even driving down the road is stressful. Going to work is stressful.
Rush hours.
Everything is stressful. Please let us make our homes a safe haven. Let it be a place where no matter how stressed out you are out, you're telling yourself, I need to go home. Because once I get home, it's going to be all right. That's what our home should be. For the man and for the woman. And it takes two to tango. Two of us need to do it. It's not a wife's job to make your house comfortable. It's not the man's job to make the wife. It is our job to make the house comfortable. It takes two to tango. And the wife can't do it alone. The husband can't do it alone. But we have to reduce stress so that abuse, domestic violence can be eliminated. Now, let me throw this question. Somebody said age difference. Does age difference make a difference?
It does
Let
make a
me
lot of
hear you.
Can the men take this first?
Oh, a woman can. A woman can. No, let a woman go first.
All right, Dr. Obi, you go.
I would. Yes. It makes a lot of difference.
Exactly.
I mean, your age, you cannot, for instance, you're 50 years old and you're going to marry a 20-year-old woman. What do you expect? This woman is just growing up. You already lived the life of that stage that she's in, and you want her to meet you where you are. She has to grow up to your age. Or age group to be able to comprehend and understand
who you are.
Who you are. This is a great mistake amongst our diasporas.
It's not only them, almost even in America too.
Ken, I'm expecting you to jump in.
Most cultures. Okay, let's hear you.
You know, we'll talk about you know, people say that love conquers everything,
Yes.
but not in this case of age. Let's be realistic. Age plays a big part in marriage, or
Okay.
plays a big part even in two partners. When you've lived your life and you want to marry a girl who's 20-something years old, of course she's going to live her own life, and when she's trying to live her own life, the life you've lived, that's why
The problem